So what's going on in Maricopa, we have to bring you up to date on that too as well. It's very interesting. A lot of the things we talked about, a lot of the things we brought to you right from the horse's mouth have come out, and something new has come out as well. There's a lot of discrepancies, right?
Yeah, this is big, some of these things.
Today is the last day they'll be counting before they pack up everything, move it to the back of the Memorial Coliseum, lock it up, 24-hour surveillance, armed guard surveillance will be there. Maybe they can get some people in there to do some computer work and stuff like that, but the counting is going to stop while Phoenix is going to be doing their graduation ceremonies. There's 17 high school graduations that will be taking place over the week. They're coming in tomorrow morning, Saturday, the people to set up for the high school. So Monday through Thursday, they'll be doing the walks, and then Thursday night, they will be knocking everything down. Friday, the process will begin again, where they'll be bringing everything out. And this time, Johnny, Fee, they're supposed to have more volunteers there to do more counting. They're getting close around, he said, to the 275,000 ballot counts. In other words, they've counted close to 300,000 ballots of the 2.1 million. And they're not going to go any faster. They're going to have more people. They'll be going a little faster. What I'm saying is they're not going to bend on the integrity and rush anything when it comes to the situations. However, there are a few things that we have to discuss. There's a few hurdles we have to get past, but there's new information, fam, that has come to light. So the Maricopa County audit, right? So Karen Fan wrote a letter of three issues that we had talked about. We talked about two of the issues. There's another issue that came into play that we didn't know, and we'll be getting more information as it comes along. No chain of custody for ballots. Ballot pouch catch didn't match with the actual ballots. Deleted databases. Cut security seals. Ongoing non-compliance with subpoenas, and more. Read the letter to the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. So what Karen Pham has done is she's highlighted three areas which they have a lot of problems. Now, don't get me wrong, fam. A lot of this, that she had to put this out there with the delay going on because we don't want the feds to come in and confiscate it. We don't want this thing shut down during the high school graduations. So Karen Pham had to counteract what Democratic Secretary of State, who hates Trump supporters, Katie Hobbs, has been putting out there that narrative that there's a lax of security. Believe it or not now, Democrats care about the chain of custody all of a sudden when Katie Hobbs writes a letter. She also had a reporter ask her questions, and now she's got the highway patrol. What's with Democrats getting like armed guards now and stuff all the time? Dude, when they're getting approached with questions?
They're getting cops. Miss like AOC and this other one, Katie Hobbs, like, oh, we don't like cops. And all of a sudden, like, you embrace cops, the CIA. It's the same thing that happened after January 6th.
Yeah. Johnny, thank you for putting that up in the right spot because I forgot to put my pictures in there. Johnny's got my back today. So the first thing that she complained about was it says, Dear Chairman Sellers. Now, what she's done is she's called for a meeting on May 18th, and she's invited the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors to come and answer these questions because they have some serious questions because they have a hole. So she wrote, I am writing to seek your assistance and cooperation in the resolution with three serious issues that have arisen in the course of the Senate's ongoing audit of the returns of the November 3rd, 2020 general election in Maricopa County. Number one, the ongoing non-compliance with the legislative subpoenas. Now, this is what we talked about, right? We talked about the logs they're not getting information for. They're not getting the passwords. And she lists that here, and she puts that out there. The first issue concerns Maricopa County's apparent intent to renege on its previous commitment to comply fully with the legislative subpoenas issued on January 13th, 2021, which, as you know, Judge Thomason found were valid and enforceable. To date, attorneys for the Maricopa County have refused to produce vital images of routers used in connections with the virtual images, not vital, virtual images of routers used in connection with the general election, relying on the conclusory and unsupported assertion that providing the routers would somehow endanger lives of law enforcement, their operations, or the protected health information and personal data of Maricopa County citizens. In truth, the fact that Maricopa County stores on its routers substantial quantities of citizens and employees' highly sensitive personal information is an alarming incident of the county's lax data security. What?
It's an indictment
of the county's lack data security practices, rather of the legislative subpoenas, and pretty much saying that it would cost $6 million seems odd. You know what I'm saying? To get this information. So that's what they've been talking about. On the next statement, it talks about the passcodes. It talks about the sheriffs. So pretty much the first issue is like, why are you reneging on your agreement to give us everything we need to do a good audit? We need to look at these routers. We want to know if the machines were talking with the tabulation machines on election night. We want the password so we can go in and look at the back of these machines as far as the software and everything's concerned. So she laid that out. This is something now that's kind of new. Did you want to read something there? The routers have already been disconnected from the county's network. We're prepared for imminent. I can't read that last word. Delivery to the Senate. With that blue is dark. Sorry. The second part of this letter, fam. She talks about this, and this is something that's come to fruition right now that we have to discuss, and we got to see if this is going to really be a hurdle in getting an accurate count when it comes to the audit. The chain of custody and ballot organization anomalies, okay? And they talked about this. As the audit has progressed, the Senate's contractors have become aware of apparent omissions, inconsistencies, and anomalies relating to the Maricopa County's handling, organization, and storage of ballots. We hope you can assist in understanding these issues, including specifically the following. And I just want to say right off the bat, we have extensive knowledge about this. Our friend Todd Jones has talked when he went and did a part of a recount and a audit in Riverside. You should have a manifest that says this is the box, this is the precinct, or this is where it came from, with the ballots in order, the way they were actually processed on the machines. That's why when we see them on the carousel, they're doing one, they're spinning it around, and they're making sure they keep everything in the same order. Because the way those ballots went into the box are the same way they should have went through the machine. There should always be a manifest so you can just match it up. You can go to that box, open up that box. It should be in the order they went in the machine, match up the images with that going on. They don't have that. And in fact, they've talked right here. Number one, the county has not provided any chain of custody documentation for the ballots. So there's nothing there. They talk about chain of custody, fam, and yet they're ignoring it themselves. All the data and all the ballots that came over, there's no manifest for that. The bags in which the ballots were stored are not sealed, although the audit team has found at the bottom of many boxes cut seals of the type that would have sealed a ballot bag. Why are these seals placed at the bottom of the boxes? In other words, these seals are supposed to be on top. It's supposed to be done with a certain tape. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have Scotch tape or regular. These seals are supposed to seal the boxes, and they're not supposed to be open. Batches within the box are frequently separated by only a divider without any indication of the corresponding batch numbers. Once again, they're out of batch. They're out of order. It's just a bunch of crap they're giving them. They didn't handle this well, and this to me is showing me that they're going to say it's negligence, it's ignorance. Oh, we were just negligent, you know what I'm saying? We didn't know what we were doing. We were just rushed. It was a crazy election this time. It was more that we can handle. If you get away with incompetence, you won't be blamed for fraud. And that is going to be what the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors is going to attempt to do. They're going to try to say it's ignorance, it's negligence, it's not fraud.
But they can only get away with that for so much, because if it's a lot of incompetence, then people start saying, is this incompetence or is this purposely?
Well, I mean, we say that, but they keep getting away with it. They always plead ignorance and get away with it. Yeah. Oh, it's oops, my bad.
But I mean, they'll get away with it in terms of like the law, but in terms of people's trust in the system, no.
Yeah. And number 4, by the way, it just said most of the ballot boxes were sealed with regular tape, not secured by any kind of tamper evidence seal. We talked about that. Number 5, the audit team has encountered a significant, in other words, you have a pink slip. It's supposed to say it has 1,100 ballots, whatever, and you go into it, and it's 960,
right,
or whatever the case, or vice versa.
So they've already encountered mismatches.
Yes,
yeah,
and really they laid it out too as well. They showed like a ballot 5. This batch, pink slip total, 200. Actual total, 198.
Okay.
You know, they have it all listed. She laid it all out. She goes, look, this pallet number 5,
that's
pink slip
super
total.
Inaccurate.
200. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't gone through a lot of ballots yet. So if they're finding this much right here, and they're saying, explain it. Now, the third part is the big smoking gun right now, I think. I showed this to Johnny yesterday. We talked about this. Deleted databases.
That is huge.
Okay. Before they handed over the machines, it appears that they found on the back end that they went in there and they deleted a bunch of files. Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, before they handed over the machines to the Senate audit team, because you look at the actual printout they show, and we were looking at the date. It says modified 4/12, modified 4/12, modified 4/12. So they deleted a bunch of files before they handed over everything. And you can see like all the dates there, 4/12, 4/12, 4/12, 4/12, 4/12. They want to know what's up. That's technically, I think that's breaking the law. Once you agree to give over everything intact on January 13th, anything done after that, you're breaking the law.
Yeah, why are you?
You're not,
what are you deleting?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you hiding?
What did you delete? Let's like now it's like, why did you delete this if they were supposed to inspect the machines right as is?
Yep.
Like as is. That's the whole point.
Yep.
Did they not think that they would find? Now you find this and you're like, okay, well, how do we find out what they deleted? How do you hold them to account? It's never been done before.
No, it's never been done. And but see, fam, that's what I'm going to think is going to be the issue in this whole situation, right? Johnny, on the next tweet, I just put the same thing over there. Pretty much, it's the same tweet, so you don't have to worry about it. It says that Maricopa County deleted a directory full of election database from the 2020 election cycle days before the election equipment was delivered to the audit.
I mean, that's if you're what like it just is more suspicious. This is what allows people to make up conspiracy theories, actual conspiracy theories. If you continue doing shit like this, you're gonna just cause more distrust in the system. So if you want more trust in the system, you establishment types, then why don't you fucking like go ahead and do everything they ask for? Give them everything they ask for. The only thing that I can conclude is that you are fucking hiding something, because otherwise you'd have no problem. You'd be like, hey, sure, I'll take the lie detector test. I'll go through whatever. I got nothing to hide. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, why do we not hold our elected officials to the same levels as that we will hold somebody else? Okay, take a lie detector test. All right, why don't they have to take a lie detector test and stuff?
Audits are good. They're trying to paint this. We should have audits all the time, just for public, so the public can be like, hey, my vote counted. Yep. People don't feel like that. This is why people don't vote. So people who are arguing against an audit just because it's a Republican that they don't like, or Republicans that they don't like you're doing yourself a disservice, because at some point it's going to be the other way around. And what are you going to do then? I'm going to call you a hypocrite.
Well, they're using the same tactics going to use on the grassroots, and that's why we have to stop them now. We should be questioning it every single time, every single election, for them to show us their work. And that's what's going to happen, fam. They're going to be, okay, there's going to be hidden spots within all the software. Now, Benny Smith is there. He just arrived. Benny Smith is the fraction magic guy. We know him well. He arrived, so he'll be assisting. He's not part of the audit team, but I'm sure they're going to lean on him for some advice, because Benny Smith has gone the farthest when it comes to looking the software, when it comes to looking at code.
Yeah, he knows the coding.
He knows a lot of things, but he also knows that these machines, he understands the Dominion machines inside and out, that they're going to leave some tracks over in certain places, but they might not be able to get all the way the information they want. In other words, let's say somebody accessed the machine at 4 o'clock on election night. Not at 7 o'clock. You're not allowed to do that. What did they access for? They won't know exactly what they did, but they'll know they'll be in there. And they're going to find little things like that. Can we use that to prove that there was fraud taking place? It's like, okay, we don't know what you stole, but we know that you were in the building, that you weren't supposed to be in.
It's not.
Right?
It's like you can use it to cause suspicion, but it really doesn't prove anything. That's the problem with election
smoking guns. Yeah. You don't have the smoking gun.
You need that smoking gun.
And it's going to come to that. Now, we suspect, obviously, because we're election integrity activists, that something's going on, a lot of foul play, but also the mainstream media with their narrative and what they've been doing, they've kind of been,
fully been,
they've been kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? They've kind of been proving our theories and stuff like that. They've been, I'm like, okay, I think you're making us right here by the way you're pushing back. You're pushing back with an intent, with a plan, with a desire to really smear this. Why? Because you don't want us finding out something that's going on. So the Daily Show went out there. I remember when we were watching it from a distance, Johnny and I, while you were inside, we were waiting for you to come out. We were filming it. And we were like, oh, we know they're going to fucking paint this in a bad light. We know what they did.
Yeah.
We know what Noah did when it came to Bernie Sanders, the whole laughing and making Bernie Sanders look like an idiot.
He just both-sided Palestine, too.
Of course he's going to just both side Palestine. So they did a little clip out there, and we got it over here. We'll take a quick look and see how they're smearing.
Last week, I traveled to a sweltering Arizona, where Republican state senators are auditing results of the 2020 election in a giant arena next to an actual carnival. Sure, there's already been 2 audits and a recount, and it's 101
False.
goddamn...
False. That's false. There has not been 2 audits, and the recount is not the same as an audit, and the way they recount, they only recount as percentage.
Yeah, 0.04% of the ballots.
They counted 8,000 ballots.
Yeah,
and that's what Chairman Slayton told us about.
Which is less than the 1% manual tally
in LA.
LA County
Yeah,
does.
people don't know this, but
Bullshit
this is why we're doing this.
And what was the other? What were the 2 audits, Johnny?
Probably a logic and accuracy tests.
There you go.
Not audits.
There you go.
Done by the vendor.
The vendor.
The vendor for that was recommended by the EAC.
They used to work
shit.
at Dominion, and now they're at the ES.
Yeah, and now they're the companies that say they verify the machine, say yep they're good, and they, you know what I'm saying. So there's a conflict of interest to say that something's working bad in an audit because they're the ones.
Yeah, but these people can blatantly repeat this lie all over mainstream media.
Everybody.
Over. Like,
everybody.
They lie. They lie.
Joy Reid,
Reid.
Rachel Maddow.
All of them.
All of them.
And it's taken as fact. It's just pointing that out. Okay.
Ali Veshi, whatever his name is.
degrees out, but there are still men like this ready to throw their support behind election integrity.
I've been here all week, and I'll be here until the audit's done, is my plan. So what's going on right back here is the most important thing going on in our country right now.
What do you have there on your hip?
Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. There has been word that Antifa and BLM may be coming in, so they're trying to be careful and secure the premises.
Have you seen any signs of Antifa?
You guys have probably heard about the carnival that's going on here. There's a little concern about whether or not that would provide those kind of folks an opportunity to come in and try to infiltrate and get access.
So there is some fear that BLM might meet behind a tilt-a-whirl, organize, and then bum rush the situation.
Bad people can do bad things, and I'm not going to say what they may try to do.
Outside of possible Antifa carnies,
can I say something?
Which was...
Okay. So we went there, and one of the criticisms Pasta and I give to the right is stop with the fucking Antifa shit. Like I get it. I don't know where you're getting this information, but again, I understand why they fear that Antifa would come in because some of the people in Antifa might, hate Trump, so they might. But if there's not a credible source that's happening, you saying that discredits you because it focuses on the politics of the ideology and not on the actual election. Yeah. And of course they go after this guy who was at the corner the whole time. We knew they were going to do this. We say anytime the mainstream media goes after these people, it's to make them look dumb and stupid and to discredit the audit and to make it look like an actual carnival, which is ironically, we got there. We're like, this carnival is here, right? Why is this here? This is kind of weird. So we asked them. Yeah. We asked the people who worked there. And what did they say, Pasta?
They said they had the carnival did spring up. It wasn't scheduled to be there, but they did it because it was towards the end of COVID, and they wanted to have something relief for the people to go to. Also, they want to give their workers a chance to make a few dollars, and so therefore, they sprung up that carnival out of the blue.
Yeah, and so that's what we did. We went, we found the information. There's no conspiracy there. But again, it's like if you repeat these things that are on like a message board or whatever, it just doesn't do them any service. It makes my job and your job 10,000 times harder because we can't. This is what they do. They thrive on this. They thrive on making this audit look like a giant circus.
Yep, and it was just stupid. I mean, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I don't know. I was like, it was kind of weird. Like, why is it going up? It was,
but at the same time, it's like people do want to go out now. People are done with COVID. And people do need money, And like the carnivals provide work for a lot of people, especially in these areas that are, you know, like in Phoenix and like where you don't have all this stuff in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, really. Like,
I
it's
mean,
just.
but do you think it was like kind of planned to provide optics to make the audit look a little foolish?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not even really. It's really off to the side. Like it really doesn't even.
Yeah, it's not even.
It doesn't interfere at all with the stadium, with the Coliseum.
And
to get into
the security
the Coliseum is tough. You know, it was tough for us to even get in there.
I know, right?
But I don't blame
Rangers.
people like thinking that. I'm just saying, like, maybe think to yourself instead, because sometimes you have to really, the things people say, they need to like understand how that could be perceived by especially the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Was laid out in official documents outlining potential security threats. What's the harm in one more recount?
I know that it's comical to watch what's happening here in Arizona, but I think that it is also important to note that this is really dangerous to our democracy. And you know what? We saw how dangerous the post-election misinformation was. This is a group of people who are clearly partisan. It is headed by a company that has no auditing or election experience, and they're making up the rules as they go along.
So who's running the audit?
Cyber ninjas.
Did you say cyber ninjas?
I did say cyber ninjas.
Is it run by a 12-year-old boy?
It sounds like it, right?
While the Cyber Ninjas website looks like the invitation to my 9th birthday party, we must not judge audit companies by their splash page. But you give it to the pros. Let the pros handle this.
These are not pros.
Well, they're cyber ninjas. That takes some amount of training, I assume.
Their firm has nothing to do with audits or elections.
Well, maybe they're newish to it. How many audits have they done?
None.
They've never done an audit?
No.
Well, I mean, give them a wide berth, right? First job, you want to root. Sometimes you make some mistakes with your first job. I remember my first job, I burned a lot of hamburgers.
You know,
and I worked at a TJ Maxx.
There are a lot of Arizona voters who are very, very concerned about this, and I don't think they like the idea of their ballots, their election being in the hands of these rookies.
Turns out the audit has had some issues in the trust department.
Okay.
First of all, that's a lie. Okay, Doug Logan, the CEO, has dealt with stuff. Breaky's known him for years. They've dealt with working with machines, looking at a lot of the stuff. They did a lot of work in Atrium County. Yeah, it's a new company that he formed to put together a team to do that. But this guy is not a nobody. He knows exactly what's going on, what to look for. Are there areas that he needs some help in and whatnot, and he can use other experts? Of course. But that's the thing. When I interviewed Sonny Borelli, state senator for Arizona, he'll tell you can't just look on Yelp to go find somebody to go audit. This is like a whole new arena, a whole new field, and they took their time to pick that. And there's a reason why they picked these guys. They worked on the same machinery in Atrium County in Michigan, so they had a lot of knowledge to what was going on with this system. And
they here's the thing, guys. Like, you can tell right away that this is a joke. Like, they're making this a joke. Yeah. That the whole intent, if you're going into this as a journalist or as a non-biased person, you don't go and start mocking, oh, their name, ha ha ha. It's like a 9-year-old did this. Like, that's not. How can people look at this and say, oh, this is serious, like journalistic news that I should really take this information at truth? And that's what the mainstream media has done, is they weaponize people like this guy and the Daily Show, the whole Daily Show, and people like John, what's his name with the glasses, John Oliver, and like they weaponize these people and they make them out to be like a little bit progressive, but really they're still shilling for the same establishment talking points, and they do it through comedy. So while Jimmy Dore exposes establishment through comedy, these people prop up the establishment through comedy, and it's a threat to our democracy to have a fucking audit. Are you serious? And it actually reinforces democracy to have audits. It, like, this idea that they're trying to twist into people's minds that having an audit is a bad thing is false.
Food industry, you get audits, like to make sure everything is clean and everything, right? We have health inspections like 3 times a year sometimes, depending where you live and whatnot. You're always getting checked up on. You can't mess up on your taxes, like we're talking about on all that stuff. Also, too, the fact that Katie Hobbs, she'll gladly do somebody like controlled propaganda media, but when a little rinky-dink reporter with a camera and a small phone asks a question about the audit, she goes running away, and they get the highway patrol to defend her.
So she doesn't have to answer questions. Same thing as AOC. Doesn't want to answer questions. They only want to be in controlled environment. Why? They're not honest. It's propaganda. And it's propaganda.
The funny thing is that they don't even ever go over the process here, which is what we did. We went over the process of how they were manually tallying stuff. So
they can't. They don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And it took the whole, like you said, Fee. The whole intent of it was to make fun.
It's
of
make
it.
a fun
and smear.
They
and
said
muddy
it
the
themselves.
Waters and undermine.
They've said it themselves. The whole in like every newsletter and every tweet Katie Hobbs has done. The intent of all these people, this is a circus. Look at this. Like, it's that same elitist establishment fucking mentality. Like that, yay, know better. You're dumb for even thinking this, and to make all these people look like idiots. Hey, maybe that guy is an idiot. Maybe some of these people are. It doesn't matter. An audit is a good thing. Yep. I don't care about your political preference. It doesn't matter. People need to have trust in the system, right? Isn't that what you want? Well, fucking give it to them. They're twisting this to make it about emotions again, so people don't logically think with their brain like, hey, an audit is actually a good thing.
And the fact is that they repeat, hey, there's been 2 audits in a recount, but who knows? I mean, the fact, it would maybe take you 15 minutes of work to find out what type of audits they really were, what the process were of these audit, and you'd be done in 15 minutes and go, okay, this is not a real audit.
Yep.
Well, all the mainstream media sources say that it was an audit, right?
Of course they do. They just throw that out there.
It's only the Convo Couch and certain other media outlets that are saying that it's not an audit.
Uncle Ron, this is not an audit.
And the worst part is, like, most of these people are on the right that are talking about this, so they get discredited automatically because they're on the right. Yeah. And so it's like, for us, it's like we're like the only ones on the left talking about this, really, like about this specific audit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the only ones like really actually talking about it.
Yep.
Starting with Cyber Ninja's conspiracy theorist CEO, an auditor who attended the January 6th insurrection, and mysterious UV lights used to look for Chinese bamboo in paper ballots. Really? To help clear the air, I talked to John Brakey and Ken Bennett, who are inside working on the audit.
There's been so many bizarre stories going on through the media.
You can have some pretty far-fetched ideas on both sides, and what we're doing is simply proving or disproving as many of those as we can.
Speaking as somebody on the outside, this feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're Mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
What is this I hear of a UV light?
There was a UV light that was being used to supposedly check for watermarks in the ballot.
I want to follow up on this. Bamboo?
Bizarre, huh? That's because Southeast Asia uses bamboo in their paper, supposedly, okay? We're myth-busting.
But are you looking for traces of bamboo using
We're looking
UV
for
light?
everything in there.
So that's a yes?
We're looking to disprove that it's not there.
Some people believe that paper from outside of the authentic ballot paper that should have been part of the Maricopa audit got introduced into the system and might be the paper on which 40,000 people cast illegitimate votes.
All Chinese ballots are on bamboo?
Yeah.
Is it because soy sauce would be too obviously racist?
Oh my goodness.
Is there a chance people believe this because people add fuel to the fire by elevating this and therefore letting that be part of the conversation?
If we validate that something they think might have happened didn't happen, then we're not throwing fuel on the fire.
Are you looking into the Hungarian vector?
I didn't know about that one.
The Hungarian vector.
It's a bullshit thing I just made up that sounds cool and a little bit spooky. I was fortunate enough to see the operation firsthand. And the people.
It's just like, it's that whole like, let's make them all look like fucking idiots. And look, here's a really constructive criticism I will say of any election integrity person. I swear, I want to give them media training. How do you answer these questions without putting your foot in your mouth? Because sometimes this is where the PR mind comes in, right? You cannot, you tell them the truth, but you also don't allow them to weaponize what you're saying against you, which is what this guy did, which is what every mainstream media has done. The bamboo thing, like, you know, they like what's his face? Keith Olbermann took John Brakey's little, clip and out of context made it sound like he was for believing the bamboo thing.
Story.
What Ken Bennett is saying is right. These theories are out there. People believe them. Guess what? How do we disprove them? You fucking do it. You look for every sort of thing. You say, okay, fine. We're going to listen to you. As crazy as it may seem, we're going to do this.
Yep.
And the fact is that American paper ballots are on 20% recycled paper.
Yeah.
So if there is a difference in paper, that could easily be found. That is not something that's crazy out of this realm. Now, of course, when the right pushes these things like bamboo and all this other crap, yeah, it hurts their credibility. But what they're saying is, guess what? We're going to do everything to just pretty much just throw out any sort of thing that isn't really true. And they don't really believe that at all. Yeah. Like, we've talked to Brakey. He's told us, like,
that's
I don't really...
Javon Hutton Pulitzer. He mentioned something before, so they're actually putting it on Brakey. It's really ridiculous. But once again, fam, they need the PR training. I think this is something that Benny Smith can help them with because he's been through this process before with Bev Harris. You never repeat what they're saying. Well, there's been talks that there's bamboo in the paper. Have you heard about that? I heard a lot of theories. We're there to authenticate all the ballots to make sure they come there. But you don't believe that there's bamboo in there? Listen, I don't know what's in there. They could have got them from Kinko's down the street. We're here to verify and authenticate all the ballots, period. That's it. You don't repeat the fucking thing that they say. And I know John didn't know that, and he didn't see this coming because he's never been in a situation like this before. You never repeat what they're saying. So you're saying you're not looking for Chinese paper in there.
Yeah.
We're looking to authenticate the ballots to make sure they have the 20% recyclable paper in there, and they came from the contractor that we had them. Anything else we find, we'll let you know. Next question. That's it. You never repeat what the fucking theory, what they're saying. You don't say that.
I'm about to send you over there to get
because we know these things.
Yeah.
You don't repeat it because you repeat it because John said he goes, well, there's been a rumor, oh, so you are looking for the thing.
Journalists are trained to do that.
You.
And so like that's the whole point, right? They're like lawyers in a way. Like a lawyer is, oh, so wait, you don't know about this? Well, what's the specific? Like if you're not ready to answer these questions, it'll make the jury, which is the audience, think that you don't know what you're talking about, and it'll discredit you. And so that's where they need to work on that.
Yes.
Let's send Post over there to do some media training. I don't know.
Well, the whole thing is that they got caught in that position. You can see Ken Bennett, and we're myth busting. We're doing this. We heard that,
which is the good track, on the right track of saying that. Because
but they're
true.
saying it in the wrong way.
Right.
It's just it. You just you never repeat that. You listen. We're looking to authenticate the ballots to make sure they came from where they were sent out. Period. End of story. So you're not we're looking to authenticate the ballot coming from the source we contracted out from. That is it. We will let you know and stuff like that. It has to have 20% recyclable paper in our ballots, and that's what we're looking for, period. You don't repeat the conspiracy theory inside your explanation because they'll pick it apart.
Because then you validate
it.
Yeah.
Anything else, Johnny?
Next guest?
Nope, that's it. If anything, it shows that they're regular people who don't have training in.
Yeah, it does.
I love John Brakey. I love what Ken is doing. Bennett, these guys are doing amazing jobs. I don't want to deter away from that, but they got to be careful right now because they have heavy, serious, dark forces that are coming here to twist shit and to make things look like it's not. And we have to make sure that we push back. So they got to be very careful with the words. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Benny Smith has arrived, a Democrat leftist. I don't even know if he's really a Democrat, but he's definitely a leftist. He's Bev Harris's guy. He can help with a lot of stuff. He's not part of the audit team, but they're going to lean on this guy. Everybody knows who Benny Smith is. He can help them out with software. He can help them out with their wording. And we'll be talking to Benny Smith. He'll probably do a wrap-up show. I spoke to him yesterday. He's on the case, and it's great to have his set of eyes there. It's great to have more leftists there to explain what's going on because we just don't want this to be, a partisan issue. There are leftists who care about election integrity, and you're looking at some.
Yep.